Hi guys, if you're new to my channel, my name is Juliasurface. I am a sophomore at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and today I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite studying tips and tricks that I personally use. Studying for me is a really big deal. I am going to college to get an education and to do well, so for me it is so important to make sure that I have good studying habits. So I thought it would be fun and a cool idea to share with you guys what works for me. Obviously, what works for me may not work for you, and that's totally okay, but I hope that at least one of these tips and tricks will be helpful towards you. Yeah, let's just get right on to it. Number one for me is organization. I have a personality type where I really like to be organized and on top of things already, but especially in my schoolwork and academics, organization is so important. For me, I really like to go through all my classes and just see what I have due for the week in each class and just kind of see, okay, what day do I have the most due? Is there a day where it's a little bit looser on schoolwork where I can maybe start doing things ahead of time and, you know, make that heavier day not so heavy? So some tips I have to stay organized is to get a planner, whether that be physical or I'm sure there's several kinds of digital planners available out there. You could even have a calendar, like a dry erase board calendar, or like a paper physical calendar, or you can even put stuff in your calendar in your phone. You can use reminders on your phone. You can just have like a note in your notes on your phone that is just like what you need to do. And what I think is so great about being organized is not only do you just have to put things for your schoolwork, you can also put things on there like on Tuesday, I'm gonna go meet so-and-so to go get coffee at 10 a.m. Or on Friday, I have a meeting with my club at 6:30 at night. So just being able to just lay everything out and give yourself a visual of what is going to be coming this week, what you need to do, I just think that is so helpful and will really make your life that much easier. So the next tip I have for number 2 is to plan ahead, and it kind of coincides with organization. So like I already told you guys, I really like to lay everything out for the week and plan ahead and see if I can get more work done during days that maybe I don't have quite as much things to do, to try and get ahead so that I'm not really loaded on just one day. Additionally, a thing that really helps me out when it comes to planning ahead is looking at my syllabi that I have for each of my classes. So typically most of my professors will have like a day-to-day or week-to-week plan of their class layout of like when things are due, what we're doing for the day, the week, etc. So I really like printing out my syllabi every single semester, and I really like to get a good glimpse of what is to come, just to kind of like see, okay, in the next 2 weeks I have an exam on a Tuesday and then I have a large paper due on a Thursday. So you can kind of start studying early, or you can start working on that paper a little bit earlier. It just really helps take a lot of stress off of your shoulders if you plan ahead. My next study tip for number 3 is don't cram, and it kind of goes along with staying organized and planning ahead. So if you don't plan ahead, or you're not organized and you don't really know what is due the next couple of days, you could potentially be at risk for cramming. Now, don't get me wrong, we've all been there when we've just had a rough week and we start cramming a paper the night before it's due. We start trying to learn material the night before a really large exam. We've all been there, including myself. It's so important to make sure you don't put yourself in a situation where you have to cram information in your head. I feel like this is kind of a no-brainer, but I feel like in college especially, people kind of get lazy or don't do this as much. But for me, in order to not feel crammed, I make sure that I take really great lecture notes. And so whenever I have an exam or something coming up, I can read through my notes again and I start to remember the information I've learned because I paid attention in lecture, I took good notes, and so right now I'm just doing a good little review session. It's never good to wait until the last minute to start learning material that you should have learned weeks in advance. And that leads me to my 4th study tip, which is to take good notes. So when you take good notes, like I said, you can just go back and review the information and not be stressed trying to memorize stuff for an exam. Like, you have already heard it, you've wrote it down, and you're starting to already comprehend it. Really, really important to have good note-taking strategies. Now, I've had a professor in college who went so incredibly fast. I literally could not keep up with him. He didn't post his PowerPoint slides either, and it was honestly really frustrating. So what I started doing is I started recording his lectures on like the voice memo app, and I could fill out the notes as much as I could in class, and then I could go back and kind of re-listen to the recording of the lecture and fill in any notes that I couldn't get in time. Another thing I really like to do with my notes personally, I'm a very visual learner, and so I like to make my notes look pretty and color coordinated if I can help it. I don't know what it is, but when I see color, it just makes studying or makes me looking at the content seem a little bit better than if it was just like normal plain pencil or just black ink or something. So I would really suggest color coordinating your notes if you're someone like me and just needs a little pop of color to help you out. My tip number 5 is to study smarter, not harder. So what I mean by this is, if your professor gives you a study guide or he or she is telling you what information is going to be on the test, write it down. Most likely that will be on the exam, and you probably want to know that information. A lot of the times, for me, at least my professors, they won't make a study guide for me, but they will kind of write down some topics that will be on the exam. So I always make sure to write those down and look at them. Additionally, my professors will give us hints. For example,
the things and content on your homework are going to look very similar to things that you're going to see on the test.
When your professor or teacher says that to you, they're trying to let you know that you need to go look at your homework. Tip number 6. This is something I use quite a bit because I can get so just wrapped up and exhausted from just straight up studying. I have never been able to be somebody who can just study for 4 hours straight. Like, that to me is so crazy, and I have friends that can do that and it works for them. Props to them. I wish I could do something like that. I really can't. So if you're somebody like me where you just get so tired of looking at material for hours upon hours, I do kind of like a reward system. What I do is I'll be like,
okay, Julia, you're gonna study,
what can I use, for example? Accounting.
You're gonna study accounting for an hour, and then after that hour, you're gonna take a 30-minute break. You can be on your phone, you can lay in your bed, do whatever you want for 30 minutes.
I have to plan a little study schedule for myself to keep myself motivated and interested in whatever I'm studying. I don't know what it is, but my brain just, it can't function anymore after a couple hours, and it just needs a break. Take a break, go for a walk, go eat a snack, go talk to your friends, something just other than whatever you're studying. Tip number 7. This one I am still working on, but every time I do it, it is so helpful and beneficial. This is something I need to work on in 2021, and it's to eliminate distractions, especially for me, my phone. I'm somebody where if my phone is next to me and I start getting notifications or things popping up on my phone, I want to look at them and I'll get distracted and I'll start going on Instagram or I'll start texting people, and it's not good. If you're able to like put your phone somewhere away from you and turn off your notifications, it is crazy how much you can get done without having your phone near you. That is something I'm going to work more on this year. For me personally, I also have to study alone. I can't have somebody like directly in front of me studying because I just want to talk to them. I know for some people, group studying works for them, and like that is awesome. I wish that I could contain myself from talking to others, but I can't. can't. For me, I need to be somewhere where it's quiet. I don't have someone like right in front of me or right next to me where I'm gonna want to talk to them, and I need to be far away from my cellular device. Tip number 8. That is to teach someone the material that you're getting ready to be tested on. I had a past professor, she was actually my statistics professor, always tell my class, if you can teach someone the material, then you know the material, because if you can explain it to somebody else, then you understand it. And I really thoroughly do believe that. My poor roommate or my poor mother, what I would do is I would ask them,
hey, can I just like talk to you about what I'm getting ready to be tested on?
And they're like,
sure.
And so I will kind of just go through the information with them, and if there's something that I'm still kind of stuck on, I know I need to revisit that information and study it more. But if I can explain it to them like with no problems, then I know that I got it. Tip number 9, and that is to make a routine for yourself. So what I mean by that is kind of figure out when and where the best place is to study and what works best for you. So for me, I know that any time after 10 o'clock at night, I am not good for studying. And any time before really like 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm not good for studying. It's kind of my period of the day where school is not really consuming my brain. You want to make sure that you find a time where you can study the best so that you can really make an effort when reviewing your notes or like videos or other stuff like that, so that you can really understand the material. Once you kind of get a routine or a schedule that works for you, really stick with it, because it will become a habit and you will just automatically be like,
okay, it's time for me to do my homework, like let's do it.
So that you're not, you know, like I've talked about earlier, not cramming or not staying on top of assignments and getting behind, because getting behind is one of the worst feelings ever, and you feel like you're just trying to climb out of a hole and you can't get out. It's not fun. Definitely stay on top of your work. And my last and final tip for studying for this video is to be confident. You can do it. Do not let a test or a paper or a speech scare you. You can do it. You got it. If you have prepared and you have gone through the information, you have done everything you can. And now it's just time for you to be confident and for you to know that you can do it. I will openly admit that I am really bad about being really critical of myself and negative before an exam. My roommate knows this, my mom knows this. I'm always like complaining, saying,
oh my gosh, like I'm not gonna do good on this exam, yada yada. Oh, this is gonna be so hard, like I don't know if I studied enough.
I am so bad about doing this myself. Just go into an exam or into a paper or into a speech knowing you're gonna kill it. You're gonna be awesome. You can do it. You all are gonna be super successful this upcoming year. Fresh start, new goals, new semester. Y'all are gonna kill it. I'm so excited for each and every one of you to get those good grades this year. Let's finish out this school year strong, and let's start the next school year even stronger. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I wish you all the absolute best of luck this upcoming year with your studies, and remember that you all are all awesome and to see the good in every single day. And I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye!